What is TWS podcast, episode, whatever, who cares at this point?
Bar. The rants of the vindicated. It's my podcast and I do what I want to.
People, listen.
Word, is it still live?
It's not working for me, Rich. All right, we gonna keep going.
I know I changed my voice at work.
Bars on the radio.
What is TWS podcast?
Ready. I feel like the Neanderthal. Staring at my watch and I'm feeling so new school.
Suicide attempts, how many tries to take?
Damn.
His charm is so contagious, vaccines have been created for it. Years ago, he built a city out of blocks. Today, over 600,000 people live and work there. He is the only man to ever ace a Rorschach test. Every time he goes for a swim, dolphins appear. Alien abductors have asked him to probe them.
Yes, I am the most interesting man in the world. I don't know if that's the sound of like God striking me down or something. But I do think I'm pretty interesting. In fact, I think I'm so interesting that we're going to start this episode with a few fun facts. A few fun facts. Say that 3 times fast. About Flan. So, I don't know. Let's get into it. I guess this shows just how bored I am. But here we go. Let's get into it. Fact number 1. I hate pickle juice. In fact, I hate pickle juice. I hate pickles. And more than pickles, I hate the pickle juice. And in fact, I hate it so much that I don't know if you guys have seen this new game that they have. The commercials for this new game for kids called Pimple Pete. Well, I tend to sleep with the television on. And the first time I heard of this game, I was, in the bed, eyes closed, TV on, and just listening to the commercial. And I could have sworn they said Pickle Pete. And then, at like the climax of the game, when the kid gets, squirted with whatever, I thought they said pickle juice. And I was truly, truly grossed out. It's like this has had to be the sickest thing anybody's ever thought of, a game where you get squirted with pickle juice. And then later on, while I was actually awake, I saw the commercial and found out it was Pimple Pete, and you got squirted with pimple juice. And I was oddly relieved. Like, for some reason, pickle juice is way more disgusting to me than pimple juice. Flan fun fact number 1. Fun fact number 2, short one. I think people who don't swing their arms when they walk are just evil. Like, that freaks me out completely. The only thing you could do to freak me out more is, like, not swing your arms while drinking a cup of pickle juice or something. Like, I don't know what could be worse than a person that don't swing their arms when they walk. I don't understand. Like, that don't throw you off balance. Like, that didn't come, like, natural, that the movements of the legs and the arms go together. I don't know. Nobody teaches you necessarily to do that when they're teaching you how to walk, do they? I don't even know where you learn it from. It just seems like it's inherently human, and so if you don't do it, like, you a Cylon or something. It's me showing off my geek credentials right there. Fun fact number 3. Cards Against Humanity is my favorite game, and for this reason and this reason only. Cards Against Humanity allows me the opportunity to test out offensive and racist jokes without having to, take any heat for them if they bomb. I get a certain level of anonymity. I get to throw out stuff, make jokes about white people. I mean, it's horrible cards in there. Horrible, horrible cards. So I get to go, like, as far as I want to go. Like, further than I probably would go, and engage the reaction. And a lot of times I've seen that, a lot of these things work. Like, people are okay with this. Like, especially if they know going in, offensive things are going to be said. And so, I don't know. Maybe over the course of this show, we'll get you guys used to the fact that I say offensive shit. And we could push the boundaries a little bit. But yeah, Cards Against Humanity is my testing ground. So I guess now people, if you play it with me, all of the probably over-the-top, offensively racist stuff, that was my card. I did it. And last but not least, fun fact about Flan. I'll share this story from this week. So I went to see Creed 2 on Friday. My wife and I went to see Creed 2 on Friday. And really my motivation behind wanting to go see the movie was, you know, I saw the first one. I know, like, Michael B. Jordan, you know, gets extremely cut for these movies. And, you know, like, pause in advance because it sounds like this is going the wrong direction. But my thought was, we go see this movie with Michael B. Jordan gonna have his shirt off a lot and flexing and super, you know, cut, you know. Wifey gonna be feeling a certain kind of way, but Michael B. Jordan ain't nowhere around, and I am. So that was the plan. Like, go let her, you know, fawn over this dude, and then you know, try to take advantage of it at the end of the night. What I failed to realize was that they put a lot into the story of Creed 2, and I was shocked that a boxing movie like almost made me cry like 4 times. Like, it was probably like 4 or 5 times in that movie where I thought like a tear was gonna fall, and I had to man up a little bit. It's like, and it makes me feel even worse because there's no reason I should be crying while a dude has his shirt off. Like, that really should never happen. But something about that movie, man, it might be evil. I might have to put that up there with people who don't swing their arms when they walk. I don't know. These are just facts about Flan, the most interesting man in the world. All right, if you haven't guessed, this is another episode of the What Is TWS podcast. It's going to be another evening with Flan. Again, you know, I apologize. Rich and I just haven't had the time to get, you know, sit down together and get a full-fledged episode out. So you got to deal with some of these random ramblings from me while I sit in my extended stateroom with my new mobile setup here. So I apologize for any audio quality issues or just any issues with the content, because I'm really trying to save like the good topics for, you know, a good back and forth discussion between Rich and I, and so yeah, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel for just random shit that I think about that might be interesting to you if you're listening. So I don't know. One of the things that just happened to me a few minutes ago that I wanted to talk about was Adult Swim. Like, I used to be a huge fan of Adult Swim. And if you don't know what Adult Swim is, like, at night during the primetime hours, I guess Cartoon Network switches to Adult Swim. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're like technically 2 different networks. Like Adult Swim isn't necessarily Cartoon Network. But anyway, Adult Swim is supposed to be more, you know, mature animation. And I think it really started off as like anime, like really geeky kind of stuff. And then I think it hit its stride when they started doing like the retro cartoons, and it was using the footage to turn them into like funny shows like Space Ghost Coast to Coast and The Brack Show and Harvey Birdman. Like, these are the shows this is what I watch at night, people. Like, I fall asleep to the TV on with this stuff on, or I used to. For some reason, Adult Swim has like gotten way too weird. Like, Adult Swim is offensive to me. Like, I can't watch it. They got some shows that I think are like satanic, and then some of the stuff I think is just weird for the sake of being. It's like nightmare fuel. It's just weird for the sake of being weird, and I'm not cool with that. Like, I'm cool with like pushing the boundaries and saying something crazy to make a point, or saying something crazy to demonstrate how crazy something sounds when you actually say it. But I'm not for like just doing weird, dumb shit for the sake of seeing how weird you could be. And it seems like that's a genre right now. I don't know. It almost like wrecked how I felt about Hannibal Buress. Like, that Eric Andre show they got. Like, that's just too weird. Like, it's just unnecessarily weird. Like, it's not even funny. It's just strange. And I don't get that kind of humor. And so Adult Swim has gone way over the deep end. I think right before I started recording, I turned the TV off because they had something called the silence, the strange silence, or the whatever. It is insanely dumb and weird, and just, yeah, it just makes me think. Like, when I have no idea what a show's point is, I start to think it's subliminal. Like, they're making a point that I'm not aware of, and I don't like this. Like, I want to understand what you're trying to say. And Adult Swim, I think, has gone to great lengths to either say nothing or to say things that we don't understand. And I can't fuck with that. But on the topic of weird, one of the things you'll learn, here's a sign that a man has not lived alone for quite some time. And he's, gaining this new, it's not really freedom, but sort of kind of freedom. I fry bacon at weird times of night now. Like, I fry bacon after midnight, 11 o'clock. Like, I don't know if the people in here, like, smell the bacon at, like, 2 a.m., but, yeah, I make bacon and egg sandwiches. I make bacon and grits in, like, the middle of the night now. And it's really because there's nobody in here that I'm disturbing. There's nobody to tell me, nigga, you don't need bacon and grits at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, I got no restraints anymore. So I just do whatever at whatever time. And yeah, I've realized that that's kind of weird. It's kind of strange to be, like, up at 2:30 in the morning frying bacon, making grits, watching South Park. But it's not a 37-year-old activity, but it has become a little part of my life right now. I'm trying to find some way back to some sort of normalcy. But yeah, spending this much time alone makes that a little difficult. So yeah, my clock is off. Everything is off. And I fry bacon. I might fry bacon after I record it. Well, no, let me be perfectly honest. I fried bacon before I recorded it. I made a bacon and egg sandwich like 15, 20 minutes ago. So there will be no more bacon frying tonight. It's kind of hard to sleep when, like, your whole hotel room smells like bacon. But I digress. I did meet up with Rich this weekend. He held a game night at his house, which is something he does, fairly regularly. And they're always good times. People come out. We play, crazy games. Sometimes it's video game related. Sometimes it's board game related. I've been over there playing Monopoly. I'm the king of Mario Kart. I dare anybody to contest me. What else have we played? I think Cards Against Humanity was going on this particular night. I didn't participate in that side of the room. I was over playing like the crazier board games, the lesser known board games that take a long time to explain and that you never really understand the rules of fully. It seems like you're figuring them out as you go. But I had a good time. It was a good space to just have a conversation and to joke about how intricate the game. I don't want to say complicated, because complicated sounds negative. Intricate the games were. I learned something very important at this game night. I knew the power of spades, and I knew that spades can, like, fuck up lives. It can destroy friendships. It can. I think I've not witnessed it, but I feel in my heart that somebody's been shot over a spades game. Like, I just know it's happened. I believe it. You can't tell me it hasn't happened. Somebody sent me a news report. I know somebody's been shot and or stabbed over a spades game. Dominoes, I put in that same category. I know it's happened. Had to have happened. Poker, yes. The game I didn't know could elicit that kind of emotion was Uno. I did not know that Uno could, like, cause mass hysteria. Like Cards Against Humanity got played for, like, hours, and it was just, a laugh riot. Just everybody having a good time, offensive shit being said, it being cool. You getting to hear people that, seem real innocent and, and sweet say, like, the most horrible things, and it's hilarious. And it went off without a hitch. And then here comes Uno, the family-friendly, everybody play Uno game, and it got so fucking heated. People, what we have to understand is that what's difficult to understand is that, like, not everybody lives in your reality. Right? I think Rich and I talk about that a lot in terms of, like, how white people don't know what it's like to live as a black person. And I think black people got to start realizing that we have no idea what it's like on that side of the fence as well. But not that deep. But I think we all grow up in certain environments. Like Uno is one of them games. Like when was the last time you played Uno with somebody and they pulled out the rule book? Never. We just assume we know how to play Uno because we've been playing it for so long. But we've been playing it in our environment with our folks, with our rules. And then we start to think that our rules are the rules. And I don't think that anybody knows like the exact way to play Uno. I think everybody knows how they play Uno. And then if you don't play Uno how they play Uno, you cheating. And that's when the knives come out. And it was like, I wasn't sure. I feared for Rich's life. Like, seriously, I really thought there was a chance that, he might get stabbed. I didn't believe anybody brought a weapon in there. It didn't seem like the crowd, but, people have nail files and shit. It could have gone down. But luckily it didn't. But I learned that, you got to be careful who you play Uno with. And you got to sit, like, before first cards get dealt or anything, we got to establish the rules. Don't deal a card assuming that everybody knows the rules from your neck of the woods, because you might get hurt. This is a PSA from Flan. Anyway, I also learned at game night that part of the lack of my success as a SoundCloud rapper was more than likely due to the fact that I don't have a face tattoo. I never took that into consideration. I guess, a younger dude, or I could be considered a millennial, but I don't consider myself one. I'm going to consider this dude a millennial. He let me know. He asked me if I had ever listened to SoundCloud rappers, and I said to him, I used to be a SoundCloud rapper. And he was like, oh, really? I would have never thought that because you don't have a face tattoo. And I was like, word? I didn't know that was a prerequisite now. I did not know that face tattoos was like a prerequisite for, and is it just SoundCloud rappers or is it rappers in general these days? Because I'm trying to think, and of most of the popular dudes right now, with the exception of like Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, they all do have face tattoos. I don't know. I feel like a face tattoo is I like living on the fringes of society and being a little different, but I do like being able to mix when I want to, and I think a face tattoo denies you. Like that's I really don't give a fuck, and I have, so I guess I can never say I don't give a fuck. Like I got maybe one or two in there that linger, and so sometimes when I put on my I do give a fuck face, a face tattoo would deny me that right. And I guess it also denied me any success as a rapper. Who'd have thunk it? Never would have known. But thanks for letting me know. I ain't gonna say your name. Thanks for letting me know, bro. I call everybody bro. I'm kind of speeding through my topics right now. I don't know what else I got left. Let's take a look at the Facebook group. I looked earlier, and there wasn't much I really wanted to comment on. I don't know if I mentioned this the last time, but I'm sad to see the Neil deGrasse Tyson accusations. It's kind of died down because that was a couple weeks ago, and the accusations came out. He kind of said it was bullshit, and I really haven't heard too much about it. I don't know if like the astrophysicist can be the first one to like beat the rap. Like he can get out the Me Too cage or what? Like that would be like maybe he found a black hole or something and he like a wormhole and maneuvered, because he seems to have somehow made it. Like I just haven't heard anything else about it. I was sad to hear it. Like it just seems like it's everybody at this point, and I really still in my heart just don't feel like men or masculinity or is that inherently evil that all of us mistreat women to this degree. I just can't wrap my head around that fact, and I think like the more these cases to come out, like it's making me wonder. Like I've never wanted to take anything from a woman in that aspect. I've never wanted to make a woman feel uncomfortable in that way. I wonder if some of these, again, we did the episode about how not to be a rapist, and I think I made the comment about, men becoming accidental rapists, and the question was, how can you accidentally rape? I think the issue, most men want to play by the rules. Most men want to follow the rules and not do something wrong. I think the danger comes in when we don't know what the rules are, or the rules have changed and not everybody has caught up. And so, I mean, it doesn't mean that the rules shouldn't have been, like, the rules weren't wrong when they were the rules, but people were acting that way thinking that they were in the right, not acting that way trying to do something wrong. I think intent does go a long way, toward whether you committed a crime or not. If you had no understanding that if you had not even that you had no understanding of what you're doing wrong, but that you had been taught, not by your parents or not by, some personal entity, you've been taught pretty much by society that these things were acceptable, and then you go out and you act in the manner in which you've been taught is acceptable, and then you find out it wasn't. I think that has to be taken into consideration. I don't think that absolves you completely, because there still is a victim. Somebody still got hurt, and you're the person that hurt them. But man, I just think there's got to be a deeper, broader discussion. I say this a lot, but a lot of these things, I feel like, we make knee-jerk reactions to stuff. Like, stuff happens, and then we like, you got to correct it. Boom. Fuck you. Bye. Like, I think we got to slow down a little bit and figure out the right path forward. Because we keep just, like, making these sharp turns, and then we got to turn back, and we turn over here, we turn over there. It's like, all right, let's slow down for a second and see if we can pick the right course from the jump and not have to keep making these abrupt changes, because that leads to just more confusion and more fuck ups and then more Me Too's and then more whatever, just more mistakes by people. I think the last topic I want to hit is I saw a South Park episode recently, a couple of South Park episodes, the last few in the whole Amazon saga. I don't know if you haven't been following it, they got a whole storyline with Amazon and workers and this whole get it now kind of society. But they also speak on anxiety in those episodes, and I think what the makers of South Park were going for was that anxiety and things like that are being used a little bit as a crutch right now, as an excuse for being able to kind of tune out from the world, or not having to face the world or your problems or anything. You can just say, I suffer from anxiety, and that means, wall up. You can't do anything to me. Like, don't say anything to me. Don't judge me. Don't correct me. Don't anything. Like, I suffer from anxiety. I could put a box over my on the show. They actually like put boxes over their heads, and they just on their cell phones, like in their own world, like, and you can't, and that's because they suffer from anxiety, and you can't come inside that world. As a person who does suffer from anxiety, it bothered me a little bit. Because I don't want it. It's a real thing, and some of the stuff that it feels like you can't face. It literally feels like you can't face it. Like, you don't know how to take that first step toward face. Like, you don't know how to walk out the house. Like, you don't know how, like, I know how. Like, I know to put one foot in front of the other and open the door, but sometimes you feel like you can't find the thing that to make yourself do it. Like, the anxiety is holding you back that much. You can't make yourself get out of the bed. You can't make yourself face that day. And it's difficult. And I don't want people, and I think this whole strategy of, like, the whole box and everybody's got to, like, get away from me. That's, like, the thing I hate the most, because a lot of people, when they found out about my depression and anxiety, the attitude was to shield me from conflict and to shield me from issues and problems, and not want to tell me things because they thought it might upset me. They thought it might aggravate my depression, or aggravate my anxiety. And those are the moments that I feel the worst. I hate to be handled. I hate to feel like everybody knows something that I don't know, and you're keeping it from me. And then you get that paranoia, everybody talking behind your back. Like, something is going on, and you're being kept out of it. And that aggravates my anxiety more than anything. It's better to just, give me reality and let me come to terms with it. But when you start hiding reality from me and I start feeling like I don't know what's real and what's not, like that shit, oh man, that drives me crazy. Like, I really get in my head and be, am I in the Matrix? No, all that, that drives me insane. Like, just tell me what the deal is. I mean, if it's going to send me to a place, it's going to send me to a place. And luckily I have the tools. And hopefully I have the tools and things I need to get back. But the object of my life anymore is not avoiding going there. The object is now being able to recognize when I'm going there and self-correct and get back. Yes, I don't want to be put no box over my head and everybody stay away from me and don't tell me stuff and don't approach me with shit. Like, nah, say your shit or tell me what's on your mind. Tell me what you think I did wrong. Tell me you think I need help, whatever. But don't handle me. That's the worst. Like, you don't treat me like a child, or like you gotta put the kid gloves on with me. Like, talk to me like a human being. I would appreciate it. Well, otherwise, I have to put you in the category of the people who don't swing their arms when they walk. Like, you just inherently, like, I got to put you in that category. You seem like a Cylon. You seem like you're trying to deceive me and keep me unaware of reality. That's not cool. All right. So off my soapbox for this episode. I don't think I have anything else. Man, I really do want to talk about this 10-year-old kid that was dancing at the gay club. But I got to save that for a rich episode. To be honest, I was having this conversation last night with a friend. We're really looking, to get some outside opinions involved. If you want to come on the show and have a discussion with us, if you want to come on the show and shoot the shit or play guess the ethnicity or, anything, we really would love to have you, just to have an additional point of view. We really are trying to, open discussions and make it possible for people to talk about things that seemed a little bit taboo. Because a lot of times, and I was telling my friend this last night, like, so I had relatives in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. And as a kid, I used to go out and visit them. They lived up in the mountains. And, I loved being out there in West Virginia. And my uncle would take me to see Little League baseball games. And I ain't care about the baseball. So while he'd be watching baseball, I'd be over at the playground or something, on the swings. And it was a lot of little white kids that had not spent a lot of time around black people. And I remember as a kid having a little girl touch my arm, like rub it to see and look at her fingers to see if it comes off. And, and as an adult, you realize that doesn't come from a place of hate. That doesn't come from a place of, I don't like you. That comes from I don't know you. I don't understand you. I'm ignorant to what it is that you are. And I think in a lot of situations, especially for me, that's how I feel about a lot of things that are going on now. Like, I have opinions about them, but my opinions aren't really based on enough information. Like, I need more information to feel either confident about my opinion or have my opinion defeated, create a new opinion. But I want to be able to open the air to have those discussions for somebody to be able to give me that information that I'm missing, for me to be able to feel comfortable enough to ask the questions. And for you to feel comfortable that I'm asking the question out of a place of sheer curiosity and not out of any malicious intent. And I want to be open to allow someone to do the same with me. So, back on my soapbox. I don't know how I got there. But we'd love to have you on the show if you want to talk. We want to talk. I think that's about my time. It's about a half an hour. I tell you, man, like an hour flies by when it's me and Rich. A half an hour is the longest fucking time in the world when you by yourself. Rich, we gotta sit down, get some more content for the people. But yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for rocking with us so far. And until we speak again, be safe and be the light. Peace.